Good
Howdy,
afternoon, Hatori, my buddy friend.
my buddy friend.
Uh, for all the eager ears, we will get to the They Can't All Be Bangers content. But first, I want to know about Jazzy's birthday.
Okay, yes. She is now 3 years old. So
Wow.
she has been on this planet for 3 whole years. And it has been a wild, wild ride. And we decided, as the very responsible and normal parents that we are, that we would get her a little mini drum kit. And she loves it.
She's
She
ripping it, huh?
loves it. And I mean, it is actually, we watched her play for like an hour yesterday and we put on like some like Luke Holland, like drum videos. And she was just like
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, do what he's doing and
Polyrhythms.
totally getting into like the groove of things. I mean, it was awesome.
That's
Now,
great.
here on out, how do we, do that
Yeah.
while also keeping a 9-month-old baby taking
Asleep.
naps at the right time? You know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get there, but it was really great. It was really,
That's
really.
really wonderful.
I think that's like my like next step. I've been thinking about it all week actually. Is like I have to learn drums. Like it
Oh,
doesn't matter if I have to like if I'm able to like play,
yeah.
I just need to like understand it. I think it's
Hmm.
like what's keeping me back like the most.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's always just been like it's hard for me to hear
Oh,
uh,
I see.
understand what's happening. Um, and I think that I need to get that sorted. So
Had,
if you help,
so, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
mm,
Um, I just was going back through and uploading songs to SoundCloud from season one from our first challenge. And one of the two of them, actually, I have live drum mixes from Mike Karlstrom.
oh
And
yeah,
so it was my first attempt at actually mixing drums, listening to each overhead and then listening to the snare and then listening to the toms and then the snare top and bottom. And then there's kick front or two different kick mics. I don't know how yet, but you know what I mean? Like it was interesting going through an EQ in each of those and trying
uh-huh.
to make it sound like I would think I'm imagining the drums in a space and
Yeah,
the this kind of mixing it in with what the song generally the textures and tones of the song. And it was a very interesting process.
huh,
Versus Logic, I turn it up and down
right.
and that's pretty much all I do with it. But yeah, it
Mm.
was it was actually fun. It was really frustrating at
Yeah.
points.
And that's the kind of like detail that I want to get into, which it's like not even a detail. If you're a drummer, that's like
You geeking out
every
about
drummer's like, yeah, like this sounds,
it.
loose
Yeah.
or too tight or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? It just sounds like a drum to me,
Yeah.
you know?
There's too much squanch. Oh,
But like I do like I can hear those things. I just have never spent any time thinking about them
yeah.
or how it would fit into a mix
Hmm.
or um how it affects like the rest of the song. And so yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to like do a deep dive.
This is They Can't All Be Bangers. We
Right.
are season two. Well, whatever you want to say it. Season two, episode four. We're halfway through this season two.
Wow. Man, I this whole week I thought it was episode 3, but I'm
Nope.
off my rocker. Okay.
'Cause we
Well,
did
add more.
I was listening back. I went back through YouTube, which by the way, one song of yours from the first 9 weeks has gotten stuck in my head many times.
Hmm.
They just want to pull me under.
Oh,
They just want to pull me
okay.
apart.
Do we even have time for this? I don't
Yeah,
know.
we
But
do. We can do whatever we
okay.
want.
So
The
wait a minute.
sponsors can suck it.
So that song, I was like, this, I mean, I would say it's like neo soul
Hmm.
vibes that I don't normally do, but I
Yeah.
really enjoy it. And I actually
Yeah.
love like listening to that type of music. Um, and I have a friend who I happen to go to school with in England,
Uh-huh.
like in like so high school. And we had probably had like two conversations maybe our entire lives. Uh,
Wow.
and but we like kind of randomly followed each other on social media, and he's now a an amazing artist, and he
Wow.
like all kinds of neo soul beats and he writes songs. It's dope. And I was like, so we've been like watching each other like, oh, I like what you're doing, So I reached out and was like, hey, like this is kind of like in your lane. Would
Yeah.
you want to collaborate? And so he was like, yeah, dope, send it. And he added like a whole different instrumentation to it that I'm like, I love.
Oh my gosh.
I
That's
know it,
great.
I'm super excited about it.
I hear
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Whoa. This is it?
Yeah.
They just wanna pull me under. They just wanna pull me apart. They just wanna pull me under. They just wanna take me apart to see what's on the inside. They just wanna pull me under. They just wanna pull me apart. They just wanna pull me under. They just wanna take me apart to see what's on the inside. Heaven only knows the way it goes, over and round again. Tie it up in knots, tight as you can, 'cause it won't be too long before it
come
all
on.
unravels. You can travel to the deepest ocean, drop it in and pray for erosion. Turn around and run, it'll come back and tap you on the shoulder, 'cause time will always show you just what it wants to show you. And all the creatures know when I'm running high, when the wind blows and the storm comes and the dark falls and the rain comes and the snow falls and the earth shakes, 'cause everything is trying to survive. No one's really ever ready to die, and that's why they just wanna pull me under. They just wanna pull me apart. They just wanna pull me under.
Play the whole thing, but
Good Lord.
I was thrilled.
That is dope.
I know, I was so excited. I'm like, yeah.
Mm.
I will probably release that
Yeah, you should.
and I'll have him as a feature on it, which is so fun.
Gosh, Hosanna.
I
That's
know,
a
right?
great song. And I like, wow.
I was so
Mm.
excited.
That is so good. You're that like staccato, or not staccato, but like that kind of rapid fire lyric part in there is so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that synth is
one.
meaty.
Shout out his name is Verse Vicer on socials. He's
Verse
dope.
Vicer.
Vicer, yep.
Bro.
His song called Running. I
Okay.
love, like, so good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Verse Vicer is I'm trying to think of all the words, but he is a good artist, no cap. Is that right? Did I use it correctly?
Yes. I could feel how nervous you were as you were about
I was
to
like,
say
yeah, I can edit it out.
So good. So I mean, I actually don't think I can bring myself to say it because I'm like, what if I say it wrong? I can't. I don't have what it takes to be bullied by Gen Z.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Anyway.
I have a bald spot, so I feel like I'm primed for it anyway. Like I wouldn't get it if I was being bullied by Gen Z. I'd go, I think they were being mean to me, but I'm not sure how. So,
Oh, what a place to be. Okay. Would you like to go first? Would you like me to go first? What do you
I think I went first last week.
Okay.
Actually, but one other thing I wanted to tell you, the other song I went back and listened to was Consequences.
Yeah.
And I love it. So
You do.
Just wanted to tell you that. I listened to it again this week and I really enjoyed it. So
it's funny. So I don't talk about my music with my parents very much. It's kind of just like uncomfortable because like I did worship for such a long time and they were
Yeah.
so proud of me for doing that. And then like I showed them, I think it was playing God.
Oh.
And they were like different, which I'm like, they're so sweet and they're so nice, it's not anything like that, but I'm like, oh, like I don't know if you're gonna vibe with what I'm doing now,
Yeah.
But my mom has been following along on our little podcast here. I know.
Hi.
Naomi. Hi, Naomi.
Naomi?
Actually, watch this one.
Thank
We'll
you
see.
so much for
Who knows?
But you're thinking she won't watch this one?
She might, maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, Naomi, if you're watching, thank you
Cheers.
for being a great mom.
And she, yeah, she was like, I liked that one. You said you didn't like it. I like the consequence. Very like piano. Like, and I was
I
like,
liked
yeah,
it a lot. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I
So
agree with Naomi.
unexpected, but you never know, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, I'm
yeah.
shutting up now. But I wanted you to hear that.
Thank you.
Both of
Thank
those songs were in my head, have been in my head a lot lately. So
Um, this week, um, was not as bad as it has been. This is actually the best weeks of season 2 for me.
okay. Well, we
I'm,
should back up, right? Because we gave each other prompts.
yes. Okay, let's back.
So
Yep.
so well,
Wait.
that's all I was going to say is you got a prompt from me for this
Yes,
one.
I
So,
did get a prompt from you. Let me, you know
so
what?
do you think
Sorry, go ahead.
do you think that contributed to there's the reason I wanted to point that out is to say, do you think that contributed to this being easier or
I think so.
interesting.
I think the reason, not because it was like the parameters of the prompt, but because you
Yeah.
gave me the prompt a whole week ahead of when it
Gotcha.
was due, and I had
Gotcha.
time to think about it. Because I think through these things and write down, like I probably had like 4 different pages of notes of
Yeah.
ideas that I was just like, writing on whenever I could throughout
Yeah.
the week. And I think that was what helped actually narrow down like
Gotcha.
that would work. Because otherwise I'd be doing that like, night before
Yeah.
and yeah, panicking. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was a huge one. So
Okay,
the
cool.
prompt, the prompt that you gave me was basically the experience of a woman being approached by men consistently,
Yeah.
unwanted male attention, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like can't a woman just be in a space without being pestered
Yeah.
by men?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And
That's it.
that's basically it, right? So yeah, I wrote this song about it, and going into it, I wanted to start with like actually like I wanted to play the instruments, right?
Okay.
So instead of starting with a sample,
Mm-hmm.
wanted to kind of build out the feel of it. And so I started with this
Ooh.
little thing here. Just this little synth swirly sound here.
I always get excited when I see all these tracks in a Hatori
Yeah.
song. I'm like, this is
This is what yours looks like every week. And I'm like, how are you doing this? I was trying to live up to the
no,
German
come on.
Herzer level here. Okay, so this is
Okay.
the first sound. That's it. I just was like, I'm gonna pick a synth sound and I'm gonna run with it.
That's awesome.
Then I was like, I have a bass line in my head, I'm gonna pluck that out. And then I basically just built from there up.
Nice.
At some point I like, especially for drums, I couldn't find a good drum sound on Logic, and I just, again, this is what was getting me to be like,
Yeah.
I have to learn drums. Like I have to do it
Yeah.
because this showed me how little I know about it. Anyway, so the
Okay.
drums are samples. I chopped them up a little bit, but
Okay.
here we go. This is called
Okay.
Mothball.
Oh, okay. All right.
Here we go.
In D minor. All right.
Woohoo.
I said, man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, won't you go back home? I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just sick of finding ways to say, man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, what else can I say? I said, man, leave me alone. Moth to a flame, I'm on the game. It's not a mantra, but it rings the same. I'm made from gold, and yes, I know you rushing to say what you don't even know. I'm ruthless and cold. The story gets old when everything pivots around your axis. Over and over again, I'm told I should be grateful, I should be kind, I should be gentle, I should be mindful of your fragile souls and your delicate egos. One wrong move and it comes crashing down. just sick of finding ways to say, man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, what else can I say? I said, man, leave me alone. Target is in motion, red dot on my forehead. Breathing down my neck, spitting Hennessy. Eyes up, hands off, guard forbid I offend by being cautious. Not my fault that you're intoxicated and obnoxious. Man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, won't you go back home? I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just sick of finding ways to say, man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, what else can I say? I said, man, leave me alone. I said, man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, won't you go back home? I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just sick of finding ways to say, man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, what else can I say? I said, man, leave me alone.
I don't even know where to start. I don't this would be an hour episode to tell you all the things I love about this song. Wow. Hosanna, what a banger.
This was so much fun. That, you know what?
It sounds like
Starting-
it was fun.
Yes, like I actually really did have I think it was like, well, you've been talking about the groove, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, I need a strong groove. Like
This
I
was
just-
that.
I needed that. I needed like and it was honestly, it was the drums and the bass, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. And the bass line that I picked out, I actually
Yeah.
spent a long time like trying different little melody lines, you know, and that I was just having so much fun with that. I got like pretty carried away actually. And I think that was like, since I built it on that, like everything else just felt punchy, you know?
I can tell you had fun with this. That totally comes through
That's great.
that you enjoyed this. I seriously, like, this was super fun. Really punchy, really clever. And just cool is the only word that I can think of, is like, it's just cool. It's super cool. We can edit this out if it's a mistake, by the way, but I wanted to, can you go back to like measure 57?
Yup.
There's a part in there where you had
Right here.
yeah.
Is it the little pause?
No, I love that. That was
Oh,
freaking
okay.
cool. No, there's a vocal part in here I wanted to
Oh,
hear.
Right here.
If you can play it, just like
Man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, what else can I say? I said, man, leave me alone. I said, man, won't you leave me alone? Can a woman like me just be on her own? I said, man, won't you go back home? I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just sick of finding ways to say, man, won't you leave
I think
me
that was
alone?
it. So now that I hear it again, it's not what I thought it was. But what I thought you were doing is like a Jacob Collier, like half.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like an intentional, like dissonant
Yeah.
thing in there. And I
There-
heard it and it was like
Well,
I got
so
hype, but
I
I
don't-
didn't hear it. So.
I'm wondering, because like I did one vocal take where I was kind of like singing. So
I
it
like
wa-
that part too. Yes.
You know what I mean? Where I'm like,
Yes.
it does add a bit of dissonance to it. I wanted
Yeah.
it to be lazy, and I don't know if that's what you heard.
I don't know, and I will probably just edit this part out because I don't mean to make it sound like you made a mistake
No,
in here.
I think that it would add actually. So maybe I'll go back and be like even more like.
Because there's one of, you know what I mean, like this kind of song, like all the stuff you have
Yeah.
going on in there. I feel like it like there's sometimes in songs where it's like, no, this song is pretty and you don't want any of that stuff. But this, like, because there's a little bit of chaos and a little bit of grit going, I
And
was like,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's
absolutely.
it's freaking cool. Yeah, Hosanna. I love all the vocal improvisation at the end, or the not in well, maybe it's
Yeah,
improvisation, but
the ad libs. Yeah.
yeah, embellishments. All
Yes.
that towards the end, really good. Obviously, I mean, with the part where you doubled was it the bass part with your vocal part on that line? Mm,
I
mm.
was like, so that's where I came up with that bass line first, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't write lyrics over this, so I was just like, did it, you know?
It was really good. Really
Yeah,
good.
I think
I
it'd
can't.
be
Yeah.
fun to do live, you know?
Yes,
I think-
absolutely. When you start an all woman band,
Yeah.
you'd have to think of a fun. Actually, there's a guy at my gym, and he is into. I think he calls it baby doll metal or
Huh.
something like that. And it's all these Japanese women,
Yes. I know exactly what. Yes.
and
They have the
it's
sweetest little voices.
yeah, and they thrash so
Yeah.
hard. He listens
Oh,
to. I'll come in the gym sometimes. He's a coach there, and before class, that's what's playing. And
amazing.
it's intense, and I get why. I mean,
Uh,
I don't know that I can get into that, but I get why people are into it. It's freaking cool. So,
so good.
uh,
So good.
yeah, Hosanna. So the the chorus, excuse me. I love that you start with the chorus, number one. I think that is your chorus, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
probably everybody else would get that other than me, but I like that a lot. I'm always scared to do that, and you've done it on a few of your songs, and I like it.
You should-
The chorus itself is just, I mean, perfect is a strong word, but like perfect. It's perfect for this song. I like that, man. I like that kind of there's kind of this snark
Yes.
is in
It's like
there.
I kind of like
Yeah.
unintentionally and semi-intentionally kind of every time I did man like recording it, the more I did it, the more like obnoxious I wanted to make it.
Oh, it's so
Just
good.
like I just wanted to be irritating by the end, you
Yes, it came through that way. And I love the lines at the end about Hennessy
know?
and intoxicated and obnoxious. It was so good. Yeah, the lyrics are great throughout.
Thank
This, this is wonderful, Hosanna.
I
Yeah.
think this is one I'm for sure gonna like work on. There's some parts, like especially that first verse, I guess, yeah,
Mm,
verse. There's this like second half that I'm like, I have to change the chords here.
okay. Okay.
It's too much of the same. So when it goes
I see.
into, I think it's one wrong move and it comes crashing down. That part,
Okay.
I want to, I don't know, something needs to change instrumentally there to
Okay.
give it its own space, you know?
Yeah.
But I'll
I
get
did
to
not
that.
notice that, but that makes sense. Like looking at
Yeah,
the length
cool.
of it's
Yeah.
a winner. I
Thank
really
you.
hope you release this because it's
It's
awesome.
fun.
It's fun.
And it's not too serious, which I like keep finding myself like writing about really dark, heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And this is like kind of a fun
Yeah.
way to approach it. I mean, a potentially dark subject, you know,
Yeah.
but it's still like it's nice to just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's I mean I'm just gonna go on and on about it. So I cannot wait to direct people to this episode to listen to this.
Yes.
So
Well, thank you.
what's the mothball? What's the title?
Literally, so it's it only makes sense in my own head.
Okay.
But when I was writing like throughout the week a bunch of lyrics, it was like moth to a flame, or
Oh, to a
like
flame.
moth to
Yeah.
a light was like the image that I kept getting, and it was just like
Mhm.
you just can't, like they just keep coming, you know?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they won't stop.
Yeah.
And so I just like I wanted to incorporate like just the concept of like having like mothballs in your purse to like ward off. And
That's
like I
so
had
good.
some lines that were like moths will be moths, and like
Yeah.
boys will
Moths
be
be
boys,
mothing.
moth be mothin, and I couldn't get that in.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, I'll just call it mothball because at least the first line
Yeah.
of like the verse is moth to a flame. I was like, there's at least one moth reference in here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it mothball.
Yeah. God, I cannot wait to go back and listen to this again. So good,
I'm
Hosanna.
glad you like it.
So I love it.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it. Wow.
All right.
I'm buzzing a little bit.
I'm
That
ready.
was good.
I am ready. I'm ready from some Herzer.
Okay. I'm not as excited about this song. I don't think it's a dud or anything, but like it's
Yeah.
and I have some thoughts around that. I think there's definitely some it's got some nice things, but generally I think and this is just guitar and vocal this week, so this song is your prompt to me was about sometimes it takes courage to know when to quit, and I didn't stick right down the middle on that, so well, I'll tell you my thoughts after you hear it. But this song's called Never Know When to Quit. So, and I'll turn off the click. Think you never got the best of me. Did I ever have my best to give? Thinking back on all our newlywed dreams, I thought we'd get to more than this. Feels like it was all at once. Been inching towards a line. Now we're punching in and playing parts, showing up and doing time. The distant memory of who we used to be won't let me rest. And I'm terrified to lose all that we've been through, all we might have left. And there's a future I can see, but it feels just out of reach. I'd be a fool to commit to a lifetime counterfeit. I never know when to quit. Walking side by side as strangers now. There's a fork in the path, and we resurrect the spark somehow. Do we leave it in the past? Feels like it was all at once. We've been inching towards the line. Now we're punching in and playing parts, showing up and doing time. And the distant memory of who we used to be won't let me rest. Well, I'm terrified to lose all that we've been through, all we might have left. There's a future I can see, but it feels just out of reach. I'd be a fool to commit to a lifetime counterfeit. I never know when to quit. The distant memory of who we used to be won't let me rest. And I'm terrified to lose all that we've been through, all we might have left. There's a future I can see, and I want you here with me. Yeah. I'd be a fool to let you go, because I'm a slave to my ego. I'll never know when to quit. Oh, I'll never know when to quit. Oh, there's a future I can see, and I want you here with me. Oh, I'd be a fool to let you go, 'cause I'm a slave to my ego. And I'll never know when to quit. Yeah. Oh.
That- Wow. These lyrics, dude.
Well,
Yeah, no, I don't know if my face was,
you looked sad.
yeah, I was like, this hurts. Like this hurts. Okay.
Well,
No,
good.
it's so good. Like
Thank you.
I feel like the way that you worded things, the words that you've chosen, and then just the line, I mean, literally just the rhyme scheme,
Hmm.
um, the just like I don't know when to quit. Like that's such I don't know. Like it is a line that works throughout in so many different contexts because you're kind of going at it from different directions throughout the song. Um, I mean, like you just nail it. Like you just nail it
Thank you.
exactly what you're trying to say. And I'm like, this is so good. I love the guitar.
Thank you.
Like just like the guitar in your voice, especially for a song like this because it's heavy and sad and
Mhm.
heartbreak. I think um there's a lot of like sonic space when it's just the guitar for your vocals to express like more emotion, because you can hear all the little details
Yeah.
in your voice, which I think is so beautiful in this. Um, it's stunning.
Thank
Like,
you.
wait, what was the line? Every line of this, I was like, oh, like, ow, it's so good. Yeah, the distant memory of who we used to be won't let me rest.
Hmm.
Like, that just hurt. That's great. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
really,
Well,
man.
thank you. Very kind. I I feel like I got really close to what I wanted this to be. Very close.
Okay.
The last chorus is the real kind of like I'm not
Yeah.
bummed about it or anything, but it's like what I wanted this to be was, and I went around and around so many different stories
Uh,
because I knew pretty early on, like I'm going to write a story, or this
uh-huh.
is going to be a storytelling song for me. And obviously, there's a little bit of me and a little bit of my marriage in here, but nothing. This
Mhm.
isn't,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
secret confession or anything.
Human, just a
Um, what's that?
song. It's just a human song.
Yeah,
It's like human experience.
yeah. And I've
Yeah.
been married 18 years, and so there's obviously like it
Yeah.
happens. You
Yeah.
come.
Absolutely.
Um, but I went through a couple who had lost a child in a miscarriage or a car accident. I went through like some dude wrestling with drug addiction. I went through like a bunch of different stories in my mind, and this is the one that I was like, I think I could write. I think I could. There's enough of me in here that I can actually tell the truth. Tell something truthful. But what I wanted to do was, how country songs kind of they have a thing, and then they will turn it, and it'll be
Yeah.
the opposite thing, and that's kind of what I was trying to do. So I think the second chorus, I there's a little bit. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's close.
I
So,
thought that it was great. I mean,
oh,
it
thank
does
you.
you twist it so like it's kind of like the hopeful part of the song,
Yeah,
right? Where you want to keep going and like you
yeah,
don't.
and that was important to me. As I was writing through this, I was like, I think I want this to kind of end on
Yeah.
a lift,
Uh-huh.
with some positivity.
Definitely.
And maybe I'm just getting older and I'm sappy now. When I was younger, I would have been like, nope, let's plunge that dagger all the way in. And I want somebody ugly crying, you know.
Yeah,
but but
I know the sentiment.
yeah,
Yeah.
but now I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's something nice at the end of it. And it was just a fun exercise. But but yeah, in general, once I kind of got into it. I mean, the lyrics I really just wrote over the last 2 days,
Hmm.
or I guess Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
um, Friday, Saturday, I guess. Yeah. So it kind of came together. I mean, I say that it came together quickly. I spent 3 days, like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean, kind of mapping um and
But it wasn't like I
framing.
think sometimes songs when you're writing them like you like hit a wall and then you have to backtrack and then
Yeah.
start a different direction. Seems like this one was just like it was this pretty straightforward like
Yeah.
step by step process, right?
Yeah, it was. And this is the first line I thought of, the very first line. I think you never got the best of me. And again, I was just trying to frame out like a story of, once I kind of landed on it, was a relationship
Mm-hmm.
uh, that is kind of maybe hanging in the balance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then musically, I went to see a guy named Kerry Morin. So I told you I've been volunteering at the Portland Folk Society, and they put on concerts. And so he played here, I guess, whenever that Saturday was before this. And he plays exclusively in open D major. And that's what I tuned. And
Mm-hmm.
and and I didn't realize that because I was sitting at the back of the auditorium. And he's awesome, by the way. He's a Native American singer-songwriter, and he plays a ton of like blues and country, and like he is an incredible guitar player. It's all
Wow.
acoustic, and he's got this awesome voice, awesome songs, everything about it. I was just like totally in. But there were a couple moments where I heard this like really chimey note that comes from a open tuning and a hammer on at a certain
Mm-hmm.
point on the neck, and I heard it, and I was like, oh, I wrote something like that
Huh.
a long time ago, and I won't bore you too much, but it's this part here. Um, sorry, it's this part here. So that's all I had. But I knew when I heard him play, I was like, I'm using that thing.
Mm.
I'm going to turn that into a song, whatever my song is this week. So I had to figure out something that was, uh, that fit the prompt, and and that's not a song, right? That thing I just played is not a song. It's just a riff. So kind of working backwards from that. It's also an open tuning, so I have to rethink. I have to be very intentional about like the chords and figuring out like, well, where is the four?
Yeah.
Because when I'm playing an open tuning, I typically just mess around and I find cool things. But so
Mhm.
having to go backwards and saying like, okay, the four is somewhere here, and learning all the fingerings. It's actually a really fun challenge when guitar gets stale for me. Going to open tuning is a good, but because of that, I also struggled a little bit with the key, because you just run out of space on the neck for the capo to keep going up. So I was down at D. It just felt like the verses felt a little too high. because the chorus then would be like,
Yeah.
"Mm." But I kind of feel like, and I think I ended up in A, and I kind of feel like B is where this song needs to be, but I ran out of capo room on the neck. So I was thinking I might do it on my baritone and do it in like B or C.
Ooh,
Because then I'd be capoing down, on the second fret, which would be kind of
okay.
fun. And also really low. So anyways, it's all
I
nerd
love that. I no,
nerd
I
stuff.
love it. That's the stuff that like it makes it. It just adds so much. Like I think we underestimate it. Like the listener probably doesn't know. The average listener doesn't listen
Yeah.
to that and think like, oh, they did this and this and this. But
Yeah.
like that intention makes
Yeah.
such a difference.
Yeah. And again, I tracked this in 3 different keys.
Oh,
And then I landed in this one, which I think is the best compromise for what
mhm,
what I was working with. Um, the other thing is, you talked about the groove, is this has that kind of swing. So initially it was very straightforward, very linear.
mm,
Um, the riff that I wrote, it didn't have any swing in it. It was very like to the beat. And the song just didn't feel right.
mhm.
And again, I don't know if there was something like maybe it was too heavy, or too severe, maybe with the lyrics, and maybe the swing kind of helped it, kind of
Yeah.
softened everything. So I don't know if I chickened out there or not, but I
You
just
did.
liked it. Once I started playing it that way, it just felt good, and I just liked it. So
I mean, the swing. I
stuck with
think
it.
the swing. It does lighten it. Like it takes the weight off of the lyrics in a good way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it can be like pretty like wow this is really sad
Yeah.
but I think that lift some songs like are meant to be like cutting and
Yeah.
depressing punches in the gut
Yeah.
but like without like I'm imagining like your ending without the swing
Mm. Hmm.
and I feel like
I
it
see.
wouldn't have gotten there if you didn't have the swing
Yeah.
to lift the whole thing so
Yeah.
yeah that's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you like it. I really had a good time with this. I think the I like this. I will play it at open mics and things like that. And I think I had one other thought about the song. I can't remember what it was, but one thing that was interesting is when we're doing these things and it's just uh, writing whatever you want to write, right? And
Mm.
then it gets to be Friday night, and we're going to meet in 12 hours or whatever, or not 12 hours, but you know what I mean, like 18 hours or something like that. I know I can kind of scramble up some poetic lyrics,
Mm.
and they might not make sense,
Mhm.
but I know I'll fit it, and I'll have a melody and all that, and fit it around, and there'll be a song there. So when it's like, no, you're telling a story, it has to
Mm.
make sense. You can't just like, you know what I mean? Or when it's like you're writing to a theme, it's like you need to anchor that back somehow. So it was an interesting like, and I kind of realized that, thankfully. I started to recognize that early on, is like you can't just wait until the last minute and vomit
Yeah. Oh,
poetry.
that's so interesting. Yeah, I guess I've never because I think there are a few times, a handful of times that
Hmm.
I've written songs that are storytelling. Actually,
Yeah.
there's quite a few. But I never thought of it as like a progression of events and more just like
Mm.
I'm like being a character and I'm like word vomiting, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that it
Um,
works if you can do that.
it
I
totally
just
works.
was
Right.
worried I wasn't going to be able to do that. You know what I mean? I was going to get to the end. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this
yeah.
song doesn't
No,
communicate at
totally.
all what I wanted.
I
So,
guess like what I'm realizing like because of the prompt, like with your prompt for me, um, it took me a long time
hmm,
to get enough material
yeah.
on a piece of paper to actually come up with a song. Like
Yeah.
it it does not work to do it last minute.
Hmm.
If that
Yes,
sounds
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah. And, I think that's a good realization,
Yeah.
actually. And I actually think you talked about this last week, but like, I think our standards are progressively getting higher, right?
So yeah.
And like when I listen to the guys on the Weekly Song podcast, they like they're putting guitar solos and shit in their songs, which I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
that is my aspiration one of these days. I was really close to trying it. I sat
Yeah.
down for about 2 minutes and was trying, and I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
That's my aspiration, right? But like, I do think there are these elements that, I think for you, but I know for me, like 15 weeks ago, I wouldn't have cared and wouldn't have,
Same.
you know,
I feel like the way that I've looked at songwriting and the way that I have viewed myself as a songwriter, like,
yeah,
has drastically changed
yeah,
in
yeah,
a really cool way. I feel like I've
yeah,
been informed a lot.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm proud of us. I mean, I think
Yeah.
for, because I don't know that either of us is, I can't speak for you, but like, t- I'd say 2 years ago, I think I legitimately thought about selling songs, like
Yeah.
as a not as to say like that's my goal, but like I didn't really know what goals a songwriter could or should have. Does that make sense?
Same.
And I guess the thought of like I'm just going to write songs because I want to write songs and I want to write the best possible song I can write as being a goal, like that's kind of how I feel now, as opposed to like I don't care if anybody ever wants to. That would be awesome if a Netflix
Yeah.
show or something was like, dude, you made us cry and
Yeah.
we want to make America cry. I'm in.
Make America cry.
But that as a goal, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't, I don't know. That doesn't pull my best work out of me, I don't think.
Mm.
But I
Yeah.
think the internal pressure of saying like, I want to write the best song I can. And I want, honestly, like I want to impress Hosanna is probably more valuable to me than like, I want Netflix to buy this
Right. I
song. So
totally know what you mean. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Man, I have so many thoughts about songwriting that I'm like in this place. I think I've hit like a musical wall.
Mm,
Or not a wall. I feel like the moment that you realize like you have a lot of work to do, you
mm-hmm,
know like what you're lacking, it's actually a really good place to be.
mm-hmm.
It does not feel good at
Yeah.
all, you know? And like lately I've been in the realization, wow, I am not even remotely where I want to be
Mm.
on keys.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
Not even close. And then even with music theory, I'm like, whoa, 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 I don't understand how people
Mm-hmm.
use these rules and you know, m- I still don't really know how to. I kind of can guess how modes work and how
Mm,
to play with them in music,
mm-hmm.
but it's a loose understanding, and
Yes.
not. I just want to be fluent
Mm-hmm.
in the language of music, and I
Yeah.
feel like a toddler.
I hear you. I took a year of music theory in community college. I mean, 20 years ago. And I learned, and a lot of that has stayed with me, but like I remember knowing the circle of fifths. Like I remember having it memorized. I remember I was starting piano and I remember being able to sight read
Yeah.
music and choir parts and all that stuff. And like, I can't, not even close. Right. I remember learning like the difference between, I think this is a German sixth and a French sixth. Like,
Yes, I
I don't know what
know.
that is now.
God, yeah. It's everything. It kind of like all hit me like,
Yeah.
whoa, like I'm watching people, especially because online people are insane.
Yes.
I'm like watching this person be like, oh, I'm gonna like sing the interval for like the most important interval for every mode. Just sing it a
Mm-hmm.
cappella. And I'm like, you can hear that? Like, what do you,
Yeah.
how? And so I'm just like, I want to be able to do that. I don't want to,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just like overwhelmed with the stuff I want to learn.
Oh, I know what I was going to say earlier, by the way, is chord substitution.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I, oh my, did I send you that video?
No, uh-uh.
My
I don't, it
God.
doesn't sound familiar.
There is this one guy, music theory whiz kid on YouTube that I was watching about uh chord substitutions.
Mm,
Um, just absolutely blew my mind. I
yeah.
just because
It,
it's like an hour long and it just completely blew my mind.
I
Like,
mean, I, it's kind of like you're saying about music theories. Like I understand chord substitution on paper or as a concept. So
yeah.
not enough that I could teach someone or like I get it's sort of like saying, I understand the internal combustion engine.
Right.
I get it,
Uh-huh.
right? But like, that's basically it.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like there have been so many times where I've wanted to sit down and write a song that would lend itself well to that. And I just don't have that knowledge and tool. So now there are times I'm sure you've experienced this too. There are times where if you just screw around enough, you find cool stuff, but like, that's not what I want.
Kind of
You know?
luck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it is actually time consuming to go through all the trial and error.
Yes, exactly. And I want to know, like, well, what am I listening for? And like, what am I, I guess, what am I listening for? Because
Yeah.
it feels like in those moments, like my brain, there's a type of fish that I'm trying to catch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you approach that very differently, depending on what type of fish you're trying to catch. And so sometimes it feels like I'm fishing for all the fish, and
Yeah,
I might accidentally catch one that I want, but
totally.
so,
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a good
yeah.
analogy.
So-
No
all right, Hatori, another
Jeremy,
good week, another
Yes.
banger.
always bangers.
And
We're
you
gonna
know what
change-
we say every week, folks? Keep on
Doing the
banging.
thing. Never stop banging. All
Yeah.
right, peace out.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.